They say that history is written by the victors. We hear stories from one perspective and one group of people, and I suppose it's no different in Hollywood, especially back in 1993 when Schindler's List was made. So I really enjoyed this documentary, and I love the in-depth version of the Schindler story that we get here. I thought it was put together really well with all the footage and the interviews, and I absolutely love the way it was organized into those different sections. The interviews were really compelling too. They did such a great job of portraying these different sides of a really complicated man who definitely wasn't perfect, but he made such a tremendous impact during this really awful period in history. That's not an easy thing to pull off, like walking that balance, but they did it and they did it really well. And I love the inclusion of Emily Schindler's story and her enormous contributions. I thought it was a really good tribute to her. She was such an amazing woman. And we're in this era where reboots and remakes are very prevalent. So the whole time I'm watching this, I wondered, what would Schindler's List look like if the movie had been made now in 2022 and included a lot of Emily Schindler's story? I hope this documentary gets seen because maybe one day we'll get that version.
Wow, this is such an epic film. It's concerning the life of both Oskar Schindler and his wife Emilie and how they worked to save the lives of many Jews during World War II. The focus was more on Emilie, who was given much less credit for the rescues. Lots of incredible interviews about her and all she did to help the Jews at their factories. It was also interesting to see clips of the opera maid focusing on their relationship and her dedication. Also interesting is that she was not really focused on during the Hollywood film Schindler's List. Lots of fascinating historical footage of the time, and you really get the sense that she truly loved him, despite the way he often seemed to treat her. I like the structure of the film in several parts, and I love the soundtrack, notably with piano and orchestral music, which really heightened the drama of the film. So glad this film was made to give the world an eye-opener about her. Great job.
I thought this one was informative and really well paced and edited together. There's a lot of information there, and it was really presented well, concisely. I just think they struck a really great balance here.
So, Bitter Taste of Love. This one was all around just really informative. I'm Jewish on both sides of my family, and obviously the Holocaust and the whole Nazi regime are a huge part of Jewish history, and being able to learn more about Oscar's wife Emily's story and the impact that she played in saving thousands and thousands of Jews was incredibly so important to learn. I found it so sad that her story was left out of Spielberg's great film Schindler's List, and I think this is a documentary that needs to be seen by more people because I think more people should know about the impact that not just Oscar had on millions of people, but that Emily helped them have. Like both of them were equally important to the world.
This was a really fascinating film to see the entire story behind the Schindler's List film that Spielberg did. And I loved hearing about Emilie and her story and all that she did for the people in the concentration camps and everything like that. I can understand why there were a lot of people who were upset that everything, because she had so much impact, that I understand why they were upset that she was left out of Spielberg's film. But again, at the same time, I also understand that what Hollywood does is try to streamline things and make it one storyline, which I believe they even said in one of the interviews. The interviews were great. I loved them. I loved hearing everybody's perspective and the love story that had happened between that couple who met at the concentration camp, who they talked about their experiences and all of that. I thought that it was really great. There was a lot of images that were very hard to watch. I mean, even now, it's heartbreaking. It really, really is. I thought this was well edited. I loved the music. I thought that it gave it such power behind everything, their musical choices. I thought that the images that they selected from history were brilliant, and it really impacted the film. And this was lovely. This was a great, great film.
I thought this was an extremely well done and compiled doc. A great compilation of experts, of people who have lived through it, and creators converging on one very profound and emblematic story. I thought it was really well curated and assembled, and had a nice through line, right, kind of for a full circle experience. And the soundtrack was absolutely perfect to kind of set the tone as well. So I thought this was really well done.